It all started with a conversation about the divorce. Sharon and I were just sitting, talking, letting it all out. You know how sometimes when you're going through something, you just need someone to talk to. Someone who'll listen without judging. That's what Sharon was doing for me. She was giving me her thoughts, and I was soaking it all in. We were in a deep moment, trying to unpack some things, when out of nowhere, here comes Marques. Now, let me just say this real quick, nobody called Marques. Nobody invited him. He just showed up, walking through the door like he had every right to be there. And it wasn't just the fact that he showed up. It was how he came in. Like he had some kind of energy, like he already had a problem. He came in like he had something to prove. And I felt it right away that I said something. I'm not the type to hold back when I feel a certain kind of energy, especially in my own space. I told him straight up. I felt like I already knew him, or maybe like we already had some kind of issue. That's the energy he brought with him. And he acted like he didn't know what I was talking about. He said, I'm just here to drop my daughter off. But even with that, the way he said it, there was attitude. Then it hit me. I don't even know this man. I've never met him before. So what gives him the right to walk into my house, unannounced, without knocking? You don't just walk into somebody's space like that, especially not when we're already dealing with heavy emotions. We're talking about divorce, about heartbreak, about life-changing stuff, and he just comes strolling in like he owns the place, so I told him. I wasn't rude about it, but I was direct. If y'all want to talk about something, we can talk. And I meant that. I wasn't about to pretend everything was fine. If he had something to say, then say it. But don't come in here acting bold and loud when no one asked you to be here. That's when it started getting a little tense. He looked at me and said, I kind of do want to talk. I don't know about Trish. Now mind you, Trish is my friend. I consider her my friend, and I have for years. We met at the gym about 4 years ago. We clicked. That was our connection. But now here comes Marques acting like he's the only one who really knows her. He asked me how long I've known Trish. I told him, about 4 years. He asked where we met. I told him, at the gym. It was a simple answer. I wasn't hiding anything. But for some reason, that seemed to bother him. Like it wasn't good enough. He kept pressing. He asked, have I met you before? And I was like, no, you haven't. And then it started to get weird. I asked him, why is that relevant? Because it didn't make sense. Why did it matter whether we'd met before? He said, because clearly you've got questions if you haven't met me. And that's when I realized, he wasn't here to talk. He was here to start something. He was the one asking questions. He was the one getting loud. He was the one raising his voice in my house. And I wasn't about to sit there and let him talk to me or Sharon like that. Especially Sharon. He didn't even know her, and he was getting into it with her like they had history. And that didn't sit right with me. Marques was going back and forth with Sharon, and the way he was speaking to her, disrespectful. Plain and simple. You don't argue with a grown woman like that, especially not in someone else's house. That's when I started getting pissed off. I could feel it building inside me. I was trying to keep my cool, but he was pushing me there. Pushing me to that point where I was about to match his energy. And trust me, he didn't want that. Because once I go there, I don't come back easily. And not just him. His whole family wouldn't like it if I took it there. But in that moment, I didn't care. He was crossing a line. He wasn't invited. He wasn't welcome. He was in my space, talking crazy, and I wasn't about to let it slide. So I told him. You can go. Simple as that. If you're going to bring this kind of energy into my house, then you don't need to be here. He tried to calm things down after that, but the damage was done. He said, hold on, I don't even know you. And I said, Exactly. You don't know me. So why are you arguing with me? That's the part he didn't seem to understand. If you don't know someone, why come at them sideways? But he kept trying. He told me to relax. That's the part that always gets me. A man raising his voice, getting all up in arms, and then telling the woman to relax. That's gaslighting. That's trying to flip the blame when you're the one causing the drama, and let me just say, this wasn't just about one argument. This was about respect. About knowing your place. About knowing when to show up and when to stay away. Marques didn't get that. He thought he could just walk into someone's home and dominate the conversation. But that's not how things work, not here. Sharon didn't deserve that. I didn't deserve that. Trish didn't even ask him to come. So what was he really doing there? Trying to prove something? Trying to test us? Whatever it was, he failed. Because all he did was show us who he really is, and it's not just about this one visit either. It's about a pattern. It's about how he keeps inserting himself into places where he doesn't belong. He claims he's present. He claims he's trying. But from what I see, he's more concerned with building a relationship with Ken than he is with anyone else. That's what I said, and I stand by it. When someone is going through a divorce, they need support, not confusion. They need people who lift them up, not people who barge into their homes and start fights. Marques didn't come to support. He came to control. And that's why I had to speak up. Now I know some people might say I was being too harsh. That maybe I should have handled it differently. But let me ask you this, what would you have done? If someone you don't know walks into your house, raises his voice, and starts arguing with your friend, are you going to stay quiet? No. You're going to defend your space. You're going to protect your people. That's what I did. And I'll do it again if I have to. I don't care how long you've known someone. If you don't respect boundaries, then you don't get access. And Marques crossed that line. More than once, that whole situation could have gone a different way. If he had knocked. If he had come in with kindness. If he had asked instead of demanded. But he didn't. He came in like a storm, and then got mad when he was met with resistance. Let me tell you something, real strength isn't about being loud. It's not about taking up space. It's about knowing when to listen. Knowing when to step back. Marques hasn't learned that yet. And until he does, he's going to keep finding doors closed to him. That I hope Trish sees it. I hope she understands that this isn't what support looks like. That someone who truly cares for you won't come into your home and disrespect the people who care about you. That night, things could have gone left. But I kept my composure. I said what needed to be said. And in the end, I stood my ground. That's what matters. That I don't know what Marques thought was going to happen. Maybe he thought he was going to shut us up. Maybe he thought he could control the narrative. But all he did was make it clearer than ever, he's not someone we need around. Respect is earned. And once it's lost, it's hard to get back.